Hello, guys. Welcome back to Gift Varsity TV. This is your host, Gift Bozekana. Today, I have a special guest. As you know, that in this channel, I always bring the best. We have a final, who can say final year, a final year LLB student at the University of Witwatersrand, Wits University. Hello, my brother. Can
My
you please
brother.
introduce yourself to my viewers at home?
Excellent. Good afternoon to viewers. My name is Sepahalo Masakwana, commonly known as Advocate in the university. I'm a fourth and final year LLB student. I just wrote my last exam on Friday, which is the last exam for this qualification.
Yeah,
Yes.
taking your qualification now. Nice. Let's take you back. Where are you from? Where did you study? Right. Yes.
So I'm from the Eastern Cape. I recently learned that it now falls under KZN, the place I'm coming from. I'm from Matatiele. So Matatiele is a township close to Umtata. It's close there. I went to a primary school called Maluti. What do they call it? Junior secondary school. Is not junior secondary school, man. Maluti. I forgot. Oh, JSS. Yeah, JSS. I forgot. And then I went to Tolang Senior Secondary School to do my grade 10 to 12. I matriculated there in 2020. That is not 20, yeah, 2020. That is when COVID came. We spent a significant amount of time at home without going to school because of COVID. So we would confidently say we completed our matric in less than 8 months. I applied to multiple institutions, including this one. I applied here precisely because of our peers who said that, look, they, there's not just anyone enters at WITS and we're probably not going to enter there. I was like, look, I'm going to study as though that is the only institution because I hear that it's one of the best institutions here. So I might as well apply to study there. And in fact, I'm going to study there. So comes 2021, beginning of the year, we receive our matric results and ultimately our the communication from various institutions that we have been accepted to go and study there, and I chose that.
You chose Wits. All right. So you chose to study LLB.
Yes.
What is LLB in full? Maybe
Okay. So in Latin they call it legum bacalio raus. It simply states means that it's bachelor's of law.
But
Just like
yeah, but why did you specifically choose to study LLB?
yeah. So there was an incident when I was in grade 10 where we wrote a test for mathematics. So I did sciences and pure mathematics in high school. We wrote a test, 50% of the scope that was there. We were not taught those things. So we wrote a test and were examined based on what we don't know and we were not taught. There was a question requiring us to calculate a distance from an aeroplane, a vertical or diagonal distance, and we've never seen these things. I was like, guys, to my classmates then, hey guys, we must go and demand that we should be given marks for this part of the work we're not taught, because it cannot be fair that we are examined on what we were not taught. So that is part of the reasons that inspired me to actually want to be a representative. Initially, I wanted to be a parliamentarian. But with time, I realized that, look, I want to go and represent people in courts in front of a judge, argue their matters there persuasively and convince the judge that, look, you must rule in favor of my client. So those incidences are the ones that actually shaped my idea of wanting to become a lawyer. And I remember recently my high school teachers tell me that when we used to write our names on our exercise books. I used to write Advocate Tsapalo Masakwa. Well, that is of course on top of the fact that my grandfather gave me the nickname Advocate. So I wrote it there. So it's an actualization of that dream by the old man. And I remember I applied for agriculture. I applied for engineering in UCT, I think, and agriculture in UFS. But really, that was just to supplement my application. I wanted to study law for the purpose of allowing these people to surrender their legal anxieties to me.
I can even tell that you're passionate with it. You're passionate with it.
Yes.
So now you're at WITS University, doing your first year in LLB.
Yes.
What are the challenges you came across?
The major challenge is my participation in politics, because law by its own nature requires a lot of time. There's a judge, I think it's from the UK, I don't remember, I read this from a judgment that law is a jealous mistress, or it's like a jealous mistress. It requires long and constant courtship. It is not won through trifling favors, but on a constant basis. So the major hurdle or challenge was my participation in politics. That took a significant portion of my time. So I did not invest the amount of time necessary for me to do well at that level. So as I've stated that I did science in school, we did not do a lot of reading. So, and law by its own nature requires us to read a lot of sources, cases from different courts and all these legislations and different legal sources. So I had not developed the ability to read huge volumes of material and concentrate for a long time. So within a short space of time, I would get tired of reading. Secondly, one of the electives I took was English literature and film as an elective course. So that was another challenge because we're reading novels there. It's another load of reading. I'm not used to reading. I remember the first test for that module, I got a very poor mark. I was demoralized and actually took a walk to the park. I remember very well. Thirdly, the issue of adjusting to the technological mode of teaching. Remember, I spent most of my life being taught in a classroom. Now I must do my assessments on a laptop. I want to type. I have to look for a button there. But eventually I managed. So that is, or those are some of the challenges that I encountered at that particular stage that I can immediately recount.
Then you managed to solve them. All right. So that we don't waste too much time, let's talk about LLB. Let's get into the LLB. What is LLB all about? Why should like a learner in grade 12 now who's watching, or someone who's probably doing a certain course, now they have these abilities of standing for people and all of the stuff. But what is LLB all about?
So LLB is not only limited to representation of people in court. It's actually broader than that because there are vast areas within the law that, or in which a person can work as a law graduate. So a law qualification, I would describe it as a qualification or as a tool to assist in the commanding and controlling of society, because we cannot behave however we want. So there is a need for order, and order is enforced by way of rules. There has to be those who make the law, that is parliament. A person may take an opportunity to go and legislate there because lawyers are also involved in the drafting and implementation of laws. We need people to make the law. We need people to enforce the law, that is the police force amongst others, together with lawyers as well. Now, who must decide whether this law was applied accordingly, or that people are complying with the law? That is where we talk about spaces like compliance in multiple institutions or corporations. A person may work specifically to make sure that the company and all its relevant stakeholders comply with the necessary requirements in undertaking their businesses. On the other side, we take the courts and we call them the judiciary. The judiciary or the courts, represented by judges, are the ones to resolve disputes, because conflict is inevitable. There has to be a judge to decide the dispute that arises between you and I. That is through the law. That is where the services of a lawyer are important. So predominantly, the LLB degree is focused on equipping people with skills to go and argue and advise people about the law. That is how I can describe it.
Oh, okay. Now, guys, you have an idea what is law about. But let's go back to the curriculum of WITS University. Let's talk about the curriculum of the WITS. Like, you can just give us a summary, how it's structured, how you can, where you can decide where your interest lies, because we have different kinds of law. Some heads of criminal law,
Yes.
whatever, divorce law, and all of the stuff. Like, yeah.
I should say at this instance that perhaps it is more relevant to speak about this, that beyond LLB, there are three types of law qualifications. In fact, there's LLB of 4 years, there's Bachelor of Arts in Law, it takes 3 years, there's BCom in Law, Bachelor of Commerce in Law. From its own name, it focuses on commerce and how that intersects with law. Bachelor of Arts in Law, from my recollection, is not a professional degree, because one cannot practice as a lawyer only by a BA law. So a specific focus now on LLB, Bachelors of Law, which takes 4 years. It is the one that qualifies you to practice. It's a minimum requirement to practice as a lawyer. Now we go back to the curriculum. In first year, there are only 3 law modules, and one is supposed to take what we call elective modules. Those are not compulsory. As I stated, that I did English, that almost dealt with me, but I recovered. So in first year, there is in LLB first year, there is, and this is common across LLB and Bachelor of Arts in Law. I don't know about BCom Law, because there they focus much on commerce or accounting subjects. But in LLB and BA in first year, there is family law, there is introduction to law, there is law of persons. So family and introduction to law are full year modules, with law of persons being a module in the second semester. So you take these full year courses and one elective course. From its own name, introduction to law is there to introduce you to law, to the basic principles of law, and I'm actually a tutor for introduction to law for 2 years now. Family law, from its name as well, it's a law that deals with many things, amongst others like divorce, child maintenance, and everything that has to do with the family. That is intro and family law. And then you decide whether you take English, and I would actually encourage people to take English, because it's an important part of this qualification, as you're going to be arguing in English anyway.
Yeah.
So it's English or any other course that might appear to be attractive. In the second semester, likewise, you take another elective course and add law of persons. So in law, we define institutions. There are 2 types of persons defined and described under the law of persons as a second semester first year module. First, there is a natural person and there is a juristic person. You and I, we are natural persons. Then who are juristic persons? Juristic persons are institutions like companies, your universities, or any other institution that you can speak about that is represented by people. So a company is a juristic person which has what is called a legal personality. That is, it can institute legal action in court in its own name, but represented by natural persons. So that is the purpose of the law of persons, to introduce you to those concepts, what is a person and all those things. We move now to second year. Second year has got about 6 causes. The first one is the law of delict, or the law of damage, as it is called. For instance, if you're walking in the road, on the road there, get hit by a car, and then you say, look, this person was negligent in driving here, I want to go and claim damages for this accident, colloquially known or commonly known as rough. People who claim rough because someone was negligent and hit them with a vehicle, they do or claim that money under the law of delict. That is the law of damages. That is the first one. The second one is constitutional law, structures of government. The module is focused on giving you an insight on how government institutions work. This is where you are introduced that there are 3 arms of government, that is parliament, the courts, and the executive. The executive, which is the cabinet and the president. That is the law of constitutional law, structures of government. It's a first semester course. So the law of delict is a full year module. Then there is criminal law. Criminal law, of course, it deals with criminals and how to hold them accountable and all the related matters. Then there is a module called jurisprudence. Jurisprudence is a philosophy of law. So there you learn about different philosophies of law. It's actually a very important module because it teaches you how to think as far as law is concerned. But okay, there is a perspective from which you can approach a particular matter, and this is how it can succeed. Alternatively, you can pursue it like this. So it teaches you to think, read, and write, because there you get leeway to argue however you would like to argue, but of course within the confines of the theories that you are provided with there. Then there is constitutional law, Bill of Rights. It is a second semester course. There it talks about the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is found in chapter 2 of the Constitution, starting from section 8 or section 7 rather, because section 7 speaks about against whom those rights are enforceable. Section 7 until 37, if I'm not mistaken, but it's chapter 2 of the Constitution, so it focuses on that.
Third year.
That is, in my view, and many share this view, is the most difficult one. If you think first and second year is difficult, wait until you arrive there. And I think it's Professor Stuart Woolman, the late Professor Stuart Woolman, says that is where law starts, in third year. So in third year, there are about 9 modules. Chief amongst them is criminal, not criminal, civil procedure, the law of contract or contract law, and property law. I throw much interest in property law because I was doing my final year research in there, and it's an interesting course. Those are full year modules. First semester courses, that is the fourth one, business entities. It's law that deals with the regulation of business by companies. So a company, as I stated, that is a juristic person that has got business. So that law of entities is important to regulate the business that is done by companies. Then there's criminal procedure. Criminal procedure, just like civil procedure, from the name itself, deals with how, the question of how do we prosecute this person and actually hold them to account. While criminal law deals with what is a crime? It defines a crime. And if a person commits this crime, how do you hold them to account? You employ the law of criminal procedure. Then there is the law of evidence. The law of evidence You see, now I forgot the others, but there are about 9. There are about 9 causes there. Which ones are most significant? And I forgot, but there are about 9. So those are the causes you deal with there in 3rd year. Then 4th year, there it's chilled, because there is what is called electives yet again. You have to do a total of 8 courses. So there are 2 first semester compulsory courses and 2 second semester compulsory courses. What are the first semester compulsory courses? It's administrative law, and it was actually one of my favorite modules, because I even tutored it while I was enrolled for that module. I even wrote an article there. Yeah. So it's administrative law and labor law in the first semester. Then they're compulsory those ones. Then in 4th year, there is the law of insolvency and customary law. Customary law now gets into much details in respect of certain aspects of introduction to law and family law. The law of insolvency is a law that deals with companies that go insolvent and must be liquidated or sequestrated. So liquidation, let me not enter into a course here, a crash course. But that is,
Yeah, you'll understand, guys,
yeah,
when you are here. When you are here, because probably some girls like,
yeah. What is
liquidation
this?
and
Let
all
me
that
not speak
stuff.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is to be taken away from this is, or are the following points: that law is it's a qualification, or it's a field that requires one to read extensively. So when you arrive here in first year, you will be told about something called IPAC. IPAC is called, the first letter I is an issue, or it's FIPAC rather. The F stands for facts, I issue, P principles, A applications, C, and it stands for conclusion. So this model is important for solving legal problems. So you'll have facts or a factual scenario from which arise an issue you must resolve. And this issue you are going to resolve by employing legal principles that you are going to apply to this certain factual scenario, to apply and reach a conclusion in respect of the issue in question. So you cannot do this by a surface reading of cases, especially constitutional court cases. In first year, you might get away with it, not reading, but just reading summaries. Maybe in second year, but you're not going to survive in third year. At least you're going to get it excessively difficult if you continue your qualification by reading summaries alone. Why? Precisely because a summary is an overview. So this is how I read judgments, and I actually started this towards the end of second year, reading a judgment in its entirety, even until the order itself, because in a judgment or in a case, at the end, the court makes an order in respect of the issues that were before it. Reading the whole judgment gives you a full picture as far as a particular problem is concerned, and gives you multiple perspectives from which you can approach the issues. And that is important because it's knowledge beyond the slides. So the slides is just a summary, and it's what is prepared to aid your understanding. So in law, insofar as in any area there is a need to work together and with people, there is a need to be competent as an individual on your own there, so that when you come together with others, there is a group of competent people who are not lacking and are going to make others suffer. So you do this by reading cases. And how is this important? I remember the other time we're in class, and it was in third year. The lecture was about evictions and about section 26 of the Constitution. There is a case there called Mother Clip. where people were declared to be unlawful occupiers in the High Court and the Supreme Court of Appeal. Now the matter was in the Constitutional Court. And the debate in class was that, look, those people were still unlawful occupiers. But the court, and I read this, I realized that this at paragraph 67 of that judgment. The court says, these people are entitled to stay here until alternative accommodation has been made available by the state. And I pose the question, how is it that you say they are still unlawful occupiers if the court itself says they are entitled to stay there? I would not have made that argument if I did not read the whole judgment. So it's more than grades. Of course, grades are important, but it's more than that. It's about the quality of a lawyer or of a law student that you are going to become after you complete your qualification here. So that is the way.
All right, guys. Yeah, prospective law students. I hope you are listening. You are listening to the fullest.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what is going to happen, especially if you are coming to WITS University. Yeah, you must expect. You must read. Yeah, you must read. Let's go to opportunities with
Yes.
law.
Yeah.
Yeah, find some other people complaining about this qualification. Others, yes, they're living nice. Like, I know advocates that makes millions.
Yeah.
You know, all of the stuff. But what is the, like, from completing your LLB? What's the next step?
So look, law, and I believe any other profession, is about building a brand of yourself. In my mind, I think that everyone is a brand, and it's up to yourself, how and what type of a brand you want to become. So let's focus to when a person is still a student, even before outside, the opportunities when you are still a student. I will speak about this one first. So there are extracurricular things, and students must participate in that. You cannot glue yourself permanently to books. No. You must do extracurricular things. And that is actually what my friends tell me that these big law firms require. As far as your CV is concerned, you must demonstrate that you participated in something other than academics. There is what is called moot court. A moot court is a simulation of court proceedings where students will appear in front of judges. Sometimes it's real judges from the Constitutional Court, SCA, or the High Court, or they are judges in that competition who are lawyers in real life. So you are given a case, you must go read the facts, read the law around that, and resolve that issue. And my latest one was a national moot court. We were in Cape Town and arguing at the University of Cape Town on the 23rd of August. And I was representing this university, WITS University, there with my partner. Out of 13 teams, we came back as second, number 2. Why and how is this important, and how is it an opportunity? This gives you an opportunity to expose yourself. It's exposure, and an opportunity to navigate really what is it that I want to do after this qualification. Do I want to be an advocate, or do I want to be an attorney and sit in the office for the most part of the time, or I want to be in court for the most part of the time? You do that by taking initiative like participating in moot court. You must not limit yourself to thinking that this qualification qualifies you to work only in South Africa. No, the world is bigger than that. Participation in moot court, and especially international ones, puts you on a spotlight where significant figures in the world can see there's talent here. And if you put much effort into it and refine it, because they observe how you speak. How do you say this? What is your demeanor? How persuasive are you? How confident are you? So that is one of the opportunities, moot court. Besides that, from my time being here, I've since taken initiative and went and met with lawyers, attorneys and advocates and judges, different actors in the profession. We call it the noble profession. And by doing so, I created a network, because you have to have an audience or a network of people who are where you want to go. So that is exactly what I did. And in fact, in first year, I, together with my peers, some were seniors to me, we revived an organization called the Black Lawyers Association Student Chapter. I was elected there as their chairperson in first year. This gave me an opportunity, or exposed me to a lot of lawyers. And because I intend to become an advocate, I have to network with these people. I meet with different people. Okay, judge says I can come and observe in court. When you go to court there, you meet with other people who have multiple uh, um, opportunities that they can offer to you. You go to a law firm, you see, okay, this is what they do on a daily basis at the law firm. Okay, maybe I want to be an attorney there. You go to chambers where advocates work. This is what they do on an ordinary basis, or on a day-to-day basis. I was at PJ Chambers. One of my advocates is there, and we're actually appearing in court next week Tuesday, in the Constitutional Court. So those are some of the responsibilities. Additionally, the university provides you with exposure to law firms. These, what are called big law firms, they come to the institutions and showcase themselves and give you an insight of what they do as far as their firms are concerned. So you have to attend those things. And after the competition, actually from UCT, I was appointed as a coach to coach high school students in their national schools moot court competition. I was appointed by CDH. It's a law firm in Sandton called Cliff Decker of Mayor Attorneys. That is precisely because of my performance there. They would not have seen my skills if I did not participate there and I was a backbencher. But because I went and participated, despite the fact that that might be nerve-wracking, they saw that this young man has got skill. We might use his skill and empower these students. So those are some of the things. And in second year, now that we speak about this, there's an organization called the Federation of African Law Students, FALAS. It's an international African organization. They came here in October and hosted a conference here at WITS. I attended the conference and I briefly just introduced myself, because the program director invited me to introduce myself. I did not say much, but the response from many people from Ghana, Liberia, and other countries say, look, man, we admire the way you speak and we would like you sometime to come to our countries and speak to the law students there. This is exactly what I mean when I say this qualification does not qualify you only to work in South Africa. You can work internationally. So during that day, I was appointed as a judge in their international moot court competition, and I was just in second year. So, and I did not think of myself less capable of doing that. Yeah, I was like, look, these guys, they're coming from their different countries and they say, man, we want you to be a judge. We were three. One of my colleagues actually was there. Were three judges and one judge was from Ghana. It's an advocate from Ghana. You can already see there that I established network. So it's you build your brand. How do you make sure that you are standing out as a brand? What is it that makes you attractive to employers? if you want to be employed, because there are many people, not only from here at WITS, who are going to graduate with a law degree from across the world. What is it that makes you stand out from them such that the employer will choose you and not someone else? Because what is a CV? It's a summary of who you are. But if you had personally approached these people and spoke to them and they know your skill, look, they know you, and they know you more than the person who submitted merely the CV. Who do you think they are going to take? Of course, they are going to take you because they know your skill already, precisely because you took initiative. So those are some of the opportunities that come with it.
Guys, there's wide range of opportunities. You can become a magistrate. Just a brief, like a minute, where you just explain what the differences between advocate, magistrate, lawyers, and attorneys and all of this. So that's, yeah, they can have an idea. Just a minute.
Attorneys and advocates are lawyers. Those are lawyers. All advocates and all attorneys are lawyers, but not all lawyers and not all lawyers are advocates and attorneys. So an attorney is a person or is a lawyer who works in a law firm. Predominantly their work is in the office there. They consult with clients. So in your final year, you are going to take a compulsory course called practical legal studies, where you consult with clients at the WITS law clinic. There, that is a work of an attorney there. You consult with clients, you open files, you do all those things. An advocate is a specialist lawyer whose work is predominantly in court. So after an attorney does all that work, there is what is called briefing of an advocate. An advocate is briefed, that is, they are given this case that, hey, my man, please represent this person in court now. So they are specialists in court proceedings. Their skill is a specialized one in from drafting court papers to arguing matters in court. So that is advocates as lawyers. A judge or a magistrate. A magistrate is a judge, and I use that word loosely, is a judge in the magistrates court. That is the district magistrates court and the regional magistrates court. You find magistrates there. A judge is someone in the High Court, the SCA or the Supreme Court of Appeal, and the Constitutional Court. How do you become these? A judge or a magistrate? You must first become a lawyer. You can't become a judge without having become a lawyer first. So you must become a lawyer first, practice for some time, and then you can apply to be either a magistrate or a judge.
Hey, yeah, I even it's like now I can go and study law now. You know. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Today I forgot to mention that I'm actually a student legal representative here. So you see me wearing like this. I was actually in a hearing representing a student there charged with misconduct. So you can choose. You choose who you want to become. I chose to be an advocate, and so I have to craft and hone the skill at the earliest time, because I have an opportunity now. I can hone, and I've been honing my skill of becoming that professional I want to become here from now. I've been a student legal representative from my second year. I've handled not less than 20 student cases, advising them, because they have a right in terms of the rules of the university to be represented there. So that is where I get an opportunity to put my qualification in use and make sure that I represent them. So yeah.
Right. Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
On
Thank you
Gift Varsity TV. What can you say to all the prospective? Just last a few words. You can look at them in the country. They are watching us.
Yes.
They want to be at VETS, others. But guys, doesn't mean if you didn't get to VETS, you should lose hope and all of the stuff. But let's talk to our prospective students.
Yes. Believe in yourself. Do not limit your ambition, or do not allow someone else to say that this is the limit that your ambition must reach. You are the one to limit your own ambition, and you have a duty actually to determine yourself who you want to become. Visualize it. What is it I want to become? This person I want to become, how are they behaving in future? And you start reconciling yourself with that. Behave like that, and you are going to definitely reach where you want to reach. Look, I said that our peers said we are not going to enter here. I said, yeah, I'm going to enter there. That is exactly the mentality I used and said, I'm going to enter there. I visualized it and saw how I must behave. That is why I'm here and finished my qualification. So, of course, there's going to be criticism, unduly for that matter, from people, especially backbenchers. You must not be demoralized or discouraged by that. In fact, that must be a motivation that you are moving, because dogs do not bark at a stagnant car, but immediately it moves.
Thank you so much.
That's the way.
All right, thank you guys. I hope if you watched until this time, you are really passionate, and make sure that you have made a wise decision and you are sure that this is the route that you want to follow. I've brought our final year WITS University student, law. I want to say graduates now. I can't wait.
Yeah, not graduate.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a nice comment. Thank you so much.